Got to climb and see him tonight.
And we're live. That is the best way to start. So, welcome everyone. Hello. Hello, rebranded Mel. I can see in the comments under Film Photo Co. And we're sorry to have interrupted Sam's story there. We'll hear the rest of it later. But welcome back to our YouTube Live. Welcome to another month of photo competition with a wonderful guest judge who, as you can now see, is Sam the Solarcan man. Sam, how you doing?
I'm good. Hello, Paul. Hello, everyone else. I'm live. People can see me. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm here coming live from Solarcan HQ up in the Scottish borders. Glad to be here.
And how is life in the Scottish borders?
It's really miserable. I don't know what it's like down there, but for the end of May, we're usually roasting hot up here now, but it was freezing today. It's been freezing the last month. So I don't know what's going on. I'm looking forward to the weather to change come June.
Oh no, we got exactly the same. I feel bad because when we planned the May WonderBox, the ISOs in there were like 80, 25, 0.8. I mean, that was always going to be a tricky one. But I thought there'd be a good chance of good sun, and actually it's like shutter speeds that you measure with a calendar.
That's Solarcan.
Well, which segues nicely.
Well, it's like there has been raging sunshine, but it's been for like 1 second every minute. So the sunshine comes out, then big clouds come, then a storm comes. We had snow earlier this month. We've had sideways rain.
Yeah, I was on a call yesterday at the office and had to stop because the hail was too loud. Which I was like, this is strange. Anyway, enough about the weather. It is a pleasure to have you on the channel, sir. We talked about a year ago, I think, during lockdown 1, when we started Analogue Television. Yeah. It's lovely to have you back. I know you've been very busy. The biggest surprise to me was that we share a business birthday. Well, actually, that's not a big surprise. It was more a surprise that we'd never mentioned it to each other before.
No, we didn't realise. And it was more the fact I didn't realise because you were born, I guess, on our first birthday, but yeah. I was so preoccupied with business. I wasn't. I didn't mark the occasion as cleverly as you did with your birthday. So it wasn't until I actually looked that I realised that we had identical birth dates, which makes us Irish twins, I guess, which is very nice.
That is lovely. So so 4 and a bit years ago, Solarcan was first fully funded.
Mm-hmm.
Rated it. So what we'll do is we'll spend the first sort of 20 minutes, half an hour talking through a bit about Solarcan. For those who don't know you, we'll cover the basics. We'll also cover what you've been up to, especially in the last few months. We've got a very cool announcement for what we as combined businesses are going to be doing in a couple of months. Mm-hmm. And then we'll move on to the photo competition as well, if that's all right. So for folks who have never heard of Solarcan, who don't understand what those beautiful beer cans are doing in the background, could you give us a very quick rundown of what is a Solarcan? and I'm going to put you full screen so you get the full effect. You have all the width.
This is a Solarcan, by the way, everyone. Are you confused what it is? Yes, you're confused, of course, if you've not seen it before. What it is essentially is an extreme time exposure camera capable of capturing the path of the sun over days, weeks, months, or years. It takes the idea of solography and puts it into a camera, something ready for people to use, pop up, not have to do any chemical processing, not have to do any building. It's all ready for someone to use who's maybe not quite sure how this sort of process works, so they could learn in a very easy and straightforward way. And it creates pictures like, just grab one that's made earlier. An image like that you might have seen online bouncing around there. Or there's thousands of different images. You can find it on all of our Instagram social media pages. But yeah, what is Solarcan? It's an extreme time exposure camera. It's a camera, a solography camera, the world's first commercially available solography camera. Is that enough?
Beautiful. That was an excellent, short and fast summary. I'm going to, while you mentioned it, I'm going to show people the Instagram in particular, because I think for me it's the incredible variety that people get from the same concept. And there's a few in particular that I've noticed recently on your page that I love. I'm just pulling up the one. I'll try and explain it to you. I know you can't see my screen. Neil Piper, that old renegade, has the one where there's a Solarcan in a Solarcan image.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think he may have been the second person to have done that, but he's, I think, maybe the first one that did it successfully. He had two Solarcan and he faced each other, not far from each other. So you can see a Solarcan in the image with the solar graph going behind in the background. So it's a lovely product, like meta product placement. I love it.
That is an ad. That is an ad feed. That one made me definitely made me notice. There's one about shortly before it. The first from Solarcan Colors, Matt Parry, looks like Solarcan on fire.
Oh yeah, so he used an Eldorado. So the Solarcan Colors, which I'm sure you'll go into in a bit, the Eldorado is the gold one there. So when you process it, if you do processing the typical way, you'll get a warmer color, such as you've got there, which Matt Parry produced. So he had it up for about a week from memory, that image that you've got. So it wasn't very long at all. And I was incredibly excited to see it. See the first one back from the, I don't know how many I sent out, several thousand.
It's amazing. It's very it's very Hellfire look. I think it's partly with the arches that are a bit reminiscent of devil horns and this arch going above. It's gorgeous. The other one, obviously, that I've seen a lot of people then commented on again is the one by This Is Sunny Bedroll.
Yeah.
The entire scene is duplicated.
So that's the second last one.
Yes, that's right.
So that was a collaboration, a very short collaboration we did with Double Film.
Yeah.
You know, Double Film, Adam over in Spain, Double Film. He has been one of the flag wavers for Solarcan from the very beginning, and he got in touch with me early on, and he has been asking and asking and asking for a special edition Solarcan that has got 2 pinholes in it. So it's a double Solarcan. And finally, last September-ish, I gave in and I did a very, very short run, all like boutique style, not a big production outlay, just something where I handmade 20 of them for him for the double Solarcan ones. And that's how This Is Sunny Bedroll produced that image. Because it had 2 pinholes and it duplicated what you see there. And I think it's quite a lovely image as well, because if you look closely at the bottom, there's you can see a lovely little tree. That's the Scots pine, apparently, on her land.
It's gorgeous. And apparently a pesky cow.
A pesky cow had knocked it down, and that's what caused the weird the angles and shapes that you've got going on there. Because it's hard to keep them still in a position if you put them out in the wild.
Yeah.
Because you've got wind to contend with. You've got people, animals. That all sorts of things can cause movement, etc. So you have to. That's why they come with these big, thick cable ties to stop that sort of thing happening. Have you seen my new cable ties?
I've heard you talk about them very excitedly. Please do show us. By the way, Lawrence Arnold's just joined us, and he said he finished his first Solarcan recently.
I'd like to see it, Lawrence. So the new cable ties. They used to be 4.5 mil thick, but I bought thicker ones because they're easier to reuse and unclip. But have a look. These are super cool. Can you see that?
Science experiments do not oh, that is cool.
Yeah, so, and they're nice and thick, and I've tested them. They hold them in place really, really well. They don't snap due to coldness or anything. And I think that just that bit of text there, it does help. I think I find it helps with people when they're wondering what they're looking at rather than just going to grab something.
Well, I think as well, I've seen in the past you talking about ones that are vandalised or broken, and I think there will be people who will deliberately misuse things regardless, and there'll be people who remove them because they think it's junk or rubbish or they have no idea and therefore they err. Whereas, yeah, hopefully that helps at least with that second one.
Yeah, it will do. It's funny. Sometimes, have you noticed that sometimes people ask, "Where's the cable ties?" and they don't realise they're in the lid.
Yes, that happens. Yes, that happens. By the way, Lawrence says you've seen it. You saw it on Instagram and Twitter. So,
Wicked. Hello, Lawrence. Thank you. Thanks for noticing. I'm not sure. I just send these messages out into the void, and I have no idea if anyone's listening to me.
oh no, they absolutely are. So go on then. So we touched on it a little bit there, but talk to us about the colour. What's the thinking there? What was the plan? What happened?
Okay, Solarcan Colours is, well, I'll jump right to it. That's Solarcan Colours.
Yeah.
So this is the Solarcan Classic.
Yeah.
Which comes in, just to give some context for the new people, which comes in a tube like this. So that's a retail package Solarcan Classic.
Yeah.
And that's a straightforward one. But for the community, the people who keep coming back and keep using Solarcan, etc., I wanted to build something that was slightly different, a different take on Solarcan, a few different design changes, so they could like experiment a bit further and try new things. Now, by changing the design slightly and the photographic paper inside the different Solarcan, I was able to create 3 different types of Solarcan. We've got the Atlantis, Eldorado, and Nebula. Lovelyly named there. Atlantis gives a bluer tone. Eldorado, as the fire one from Matt Parry that you saw, gives a lovely reddish orange tone. And Nebula gives a sort of green and purple or green and dark red tone that you get as well, so sort of duotone coloured one there. So these 3 give, if you had them all facing the same way,
yeah,
you get three identical compositions, but the colours and glows you get on the different images will be completely different, which is very exciting. So I launched that in a Kickstarter last November, something that I prepared last February, but then lockdown came in and I thought, what's going to happen, etc. And is it a good idea to launch a Kickstarter right now? Perhaps it was at the time, but that's hindsight. But I launched it in November, so we'd be in time for this new Solarcan Day that's coming up here. And it was very successful. It was fully funded in less than 24 hours. It raised £15,000, and they've shipped to every single country I could name off the top of my head around the world, which is really, really wonderful. So they're up everywhere, all over the place. And I'm just starting to wait for results to come back, because results take 6 months. It's a real patient game here. They're not all like Matt Parry, who takes them down after 7 days. You've got to wait months, etc.
Well, Lawrence, actually, who clearly is gone from 0 to heavy Solarcan user, has put his first. He's got the coloured ones. Put first one up in March. Second one's going up next month. So Lawrence is going to be able to have an absolute series of cracking colour photos. And then when you might have said this, I might have missed it. Sorry. When you scan, then I know that you invert for the normal. What do you have to do to protect the different tints and things like that for the colour?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You scan it in invert as normal, and you'll see how different the different colours and tints are on each one. It's also quite subjective with the colours, and it does depend a lot on the software you're using to do the inversion and the scanner that you're using to take the scan as well. So this is why you get a huge different range. But you will find, if you've got all 3 and you're using all 3, that they will have completely different hues and completely different colours. The Nebula one is probably most striking in how different it is. And the Eldorado really solarizes in colour, which is nice. Whereas the Atlantis is quite closer to being the classic one there with the straightforward blue. But yeah, you don't have to do a great deal, and it's not. You don't have to, but I do encourage people to play about, because that's part of the fun of learning, right? What I've always said about Solarcan is, when I first wanted to make my first solar graph, I had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions like, look, I've been a photographer for 20 years, and why have I still got questions? This is meant to be really simple. Are streetlights going to affect it? Is this going to work? Which way round should I orientate it? Where's the pinhole? Is the pinhole big enough? Is it too small? This takes away all of those questions so someone can experiment. And when they open it up and look at it, they're like, oh, it's so simple. So the majority of the Analogue Wonderland audience will probably be able to make one their own if they wanted to. But if they are feeling generous or don't feel confident enough to do that, they could always buy one. It's also a good gift to give to someone else, or it just takes away a bit of that mystery, and it's a good starting post for people to learn about solography and a different type of film photography.
No, it's brilliant because I think you're right. Even though it's very basic or back to basics in terms of there's no lens, but actually to move your head away from shutter speed of 1/60th, f11, into shutter speed of 6 months, f 128?
132, I think I put.
Ah, so close, 132. F 132, ISO.
There's no ISO
Doesn't
really.
make sense because it's
like it wouldn't make sense. ISO 0.001.
Exactly. So you've got this totally different level of concepts to get your head around. So I think it's absolutely brilliant. Okay, yeah, and also back to your point, the reason I asked about the scanner settings was because I know when I talk to people about double film Revolog, the scanner settings make a huge difference, and often labs will colour correct out the effects, which makes everything very washed out and crappy. But I suppose for you, if you invert them all in the same way with the same settings, you'll get the different effects.
You will absolutely,
even if they're slightly different from the person sat next to you.
Absolutely, yeah. Two different people might get different results, but you get three completely different results individually of the three different Solarcan things that you get there, the three different Solarcan colours. And it's, I know I keep beating this horse, but it's as much as a camera as it is an experiment or a learning experience. So learning about photography and optics and fun things. You know, the amount of long-term professional photographers that have been around for years that look at Solarcan, see it for the first time, and they say, "What is that?" I say, "Well, it's a camera. It's a solography camera." No, I don't get it. It's weird to have a product that you have to explain from scratch, even to a long-term seasoned photographer, because it really does. When we talk about strip things back to basics and go into a pinhole camera, that's only one step basic. This goes even further basic because there's no chemical processing afterwards. We're not even using photographic paper in the way you traditionally use photographic paper. So there is no chemical processing.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes photographers, experienced ones, and I don't blame them, take some time to get their head around that. Everything they've ever learned with what to do in the darkroom. And this just throws that all out the window by making things super simple and fun.
Well, I enjoyed, and this is sort of a nice segue into the news we're going to announce. I enjoyed the photography show a couple of years ago when you were doing this, and it was, again, people would come up and be like, "What is this?" And then you'd show open, scan, image. Open, scan, invert, image. And it blew people's mind because, yeah, the number of people who even then were like, "But how did you just develop it?" You're like, no, you didn't just develop it. That's the point.
Yeah.
So, on that note, what are you going to be doing in September?
In September? Is something happening, Paul?
Well, I mean, hopefully. Fingers crossed, COVID caveats, blah, blah, blah.
I believe, yes, we are combining forces, Solarcan and Analogue Wonderland, taking out the largest stall there is at the photography show together in a joint venture where all of the wonderful, adoring community can come and meet us all, and all of the team with us.
Exactly. There will be a line for autographs. There'll be a line for signing T-shirts. It'll be brilliant. No, yeah, I mean, in fairness, I don't think we're going to be the very biggest thing. I think Nikon have that, and then we're second, I think, after Nikon. No, exactly. I'm super excited. We are all crossing all our fingers for this to be a physical event with everyone safe and well and vaccinated and everything. But assuming everything goes well, me and you will have a wonderful time. And we're right next to the Analogue Spotlight, so We're next to Camera Rescue from Finland. We're right next to Cosmo Photo, Steve Lloyd Chroma Cameras, Hamish and Pixdata, the whole gang.
Big group, all in a big group.
There. We've got plans, a lot of plans actually, with the photography show to bring back some of the things that we had planned just before COVID stopped. I've got a meeting, I think, next week to try and persuade them to do a few things. So, yes, I can't remember the date. I was about to say put it in your diary, but I can't remember the date. Do you have the date?
I don't have the date, no.
Put it in your diary, September.
September. We'll let you know because you'll get a discount from us to go to the show. We'll be able to give out a discount.
Hang on, I can't let this. 2020. Let me look this up very, very quickly. 18th to 21st of September. Tickets available soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. If you've never been to the photography show, it's like a playground for photographers. It's great fun. Not only do you get to meet other photographers, you get to meet your favorite brands and try out new equipment, etc. Meet amazing people and network. And
you can purchase as well, which not all shows allow you to, but you can at the photography show. So if you,
bring a rucksack.
Bring a rucksack and a wallet. Because everyone I know, even the ones who turn up saying, I don't need anything, will walk away with a light panel or a Solarcan or 3.
Yes.
So we'll be there with some of our wares as well. And again, hopefully, if all goes to plan, we'll have some kind of photo walk. Sunny 16 will be there. There'll be lots and lots of fun things with the film community. So it's almost too early to be excited. I don't know. It feels so soon from a COVID point of view. I don't know, but at the same point, this could be the first time that we can all get together as a community properly and celebrate.
I remember the one we did previously. No, that's not the point. I don't remember the one we did previously. It was 4 days, and it wasn't until after the event that I realised I was on complete autopilot. I was being spoken to by a different person every minute. I was trying to remember everyone's questions and names and saying, I'll get back in touch with you, etc. And I was dead after 4 days. I was like, what just...
Even after the first day, the Saturday, and we sort of met for a pint at the sports bar that's there. A lot of people gathered. And after about an hour, everyone was just sort of quietly just rocking on their chairs, like nodding, like So no, it's brilliant fun. So and as I say, Sam and I are going to combine forces because we think together it'll be even more fun than trying to organise it by ourselves, which is...
Yeah, we've got nice, colourful, hip, trendy communities like you guys out there watching us thinking, oh, good God.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to make sure we touched on from a Solarcam point of view, Sam? Anything else on your mind at the moment? Anything you'd like people to do? We have Solarcan Day. We didn't talk about Solarcan Day. So what is happening?
I was about to say, I thought that was your introduction.
Exactly, and that was why I brought you on now. It timed well, but I've totally screwed it up. Go on then. So what is Solarcan Day?
Solarcan Day is less commonly known as the summer solstice. So this is what we've coined as Solarcan Day. So the 21st of June, 2021, is the point where the sun reaches the highest point in the sky. And what do? You always feel like you've got to celebrate on this day. Some people go to Stonehenge. Some people run in a field naked. Some people just tick it off on their calendar or maybe do some astronomy. But in the photography community, it gives us an opportunity to start a new solar graph, which we could do with a Solarcan, because the sun is passing the highest point in the sky, which is the most ideal and optimum time to put up a Solarcan. So you can capture its progression down through the sky over 6 months until the winter solstice, so you can capture a complete cycle of the sun. So Solarcan Day is traditionally where people put up or take down a Solarcan, which is good fun. So yes, it's in 26 days, 27, 26 days.
25 days.
It's in 25 days.
The only reason I know that is I pulled up the blog that you wrote for us a couple of years ago that talked about this whole concept, and that has a live countdown to the next Solarcan Day.
Absolutely.
There are 2 a year, the summer Solarcan Day and the winter Solarcan Day.
And rather than making my own What is Solarcan Day website, I always point people towards Paul's, towards Analogue Wonderland What is Solarcan Day, because it's just perfect. It's got a countdown, and I really appreciate that he's done that. What is Solarcan Day? You Google that, and it comes up as the #1 result always. So,
and can you confirm that you can still run around naked in a field and then put up a solar can? Like, it's not an either-or situation. It's...
Preferably, you do both. But don't worry, the low exposure time and the long exposure time and the low ISO speed means you will not get captured on film.
Although, if you're then opening a solar can, be careful, because sharp bits and running around naked in a field.
Yes, it could be, but don't open it naked, no.
Dangerous. Now, the other thing I wanted to quickly cover, and I'm sorry, Sam, because this isn't about solar cans, but it is some promised breaking news that I said on Instagram before we started that it's going to be happening. I've checked, and the embargo is lifted. And there is a new film on the market as of 30 minutes ago. It's an emulsion that we know in a format we don't. So for medium format shooters out there, I'm showing it now. Here we go. Cinestill BW. Oh, look at that party. Hang on a sec. I've taken you off the screen, Sam. Sorry, there we go. Do it again. Beautiful. The Kodak XX cinematic film that has been 35mm for several years. Cinestill have brought it to 120. So medium format shooters, rejoice. It is now available in store as we speak. Yay! And I have to apologise to Emma Lloyd, who is my marketing assistant at Analogue Wonderland. She has made a brilliant TV ad about Cinestill that I was meant to play now, and my computer isn't syncing with the shared drive. So I will have to play it afterwards. But yes, there we go. Slight digression, but as promised, breaking news. Sam, good news, by the way. Mel says that her fiancé has decided she wants a Solarcam.
Brilliant.
So I'm presuming is based purely on the brilliant salesmanship you just did.
No, maybe it's this old. That's a nice idea to do that for the solstice. Thank you, Mel's fiancé.
Perfect. Okay then, so on to the next part of the show. So we have you as guest judge. Now, I would say before we get started, and you told me this as well, this is not your first photo judging that you've ever done, is it?
No, I'm a professional photo judge. I do it at least once a month for photography clubs generally around the country, etc. Yeah.
There we go. So one of the things I always enjoy about the WonderBox photo competition each month is that I get different guest judges on. They have different criteria. They have different artistic preferences. They have different technical requirements for a good photo. And I don't give them any guidance. I just say, choose the photos you enjoy. And I know, Sam, you took that approach quite sensibly. And you've what have you done? Have you held your critiquing photo club brain? Have you gone with the Solarcan experimental photography brain? How did you approach it?
I certainly enjoyed all the photographs that I've chosen. I generally look through an archive and go through the whole lot first, and then go through them several times, start whittling them down and choosing the ones I like. And a favourite usually does rise to the top. The favourite is usually, for me, is usually an image that causes issues because it's usually slightly different. But I am generally a fan of more abstract work, removing the camera or the context from the composition, which I think is fun. But in this case, looking for your images, the images that were submitted to this competition, I felt like I collected, because you asked me to collect 5 together, I collected a nice range of different images that would hang well together. And a 6th one, which was, well, I'll explain it. I'll explain it when we get there. You wouldn't be able to explain it otherwise. But there is a photographic quality that I've appreciated in the work. And usually I'd go through every single image and offer harsh critique on everyone's work. But this is not that kind of competition, I guess. We're not looking for a critique. We're having fun here, etc. And I think that's important as well. So every one of these 6 images, I guess, I've chosen here, I would happily hang on my wall, which would be really nice.
That is wonderful. Thank you. That is more methodology than we've ever heard a guest judge say before. I contrast that with Hamish. He said, I don't know, I just picked ones I liked, didn't I? Brilliant. Which is all part of the fun. Now, if anyone does want a very harsh critique on any photos, Sam's available on Instagram and Twitter at any point to roast you. That's not a problem. Roast with knowledge and experience, obviously, as well as sharp wit. No, that's wonderful. Thank you. So we've got so a quick reminder for people. So every month, WonderBox subscribers get to enter photo competition. There are special mentions picked by the guest judge, and I've put in a couple as well myself that jumped out. We'll go through stuff on what we liked, and then there is a lucky dip winner that's randomly picked from all the selections, so you always have a chance to win that. And then Sam has chosen his grand prize winner. So let's dive straight in. So, May photo competition with Solarcan Sam.
Ooh.
Number 1, and by a photo by Owen. What do you
Owen
here?
Okay, and this is up on the screen, yes?
It's up on the screen, people can see it.
Okay, wonderful. So this is the black and white gate, and I went through this one several times. It kept drawing back to me, and my excitement for this one was generally because of the abstract nature of it. Now, it has got context. I can read the image. I can see it's a gate. I can see light passing through the gate, but I enjoy compositionally the dissecting lines from the bottom right up until the top left, and the bright left light from the top left down to the bottom right. I think the black and white nature of the photo sort of adds to the abstractness of the image, and overall, I think it's got a great understanding of light. So someone saw the light. I can see the photographer's eye there. They saw the light that was enjoyable. It wasn't just a gate that they thought was pretty. They understood some brilliant light was coming into the frame there. And I think that should be really appreciated in this one. And I love that it's probably a couple of stops underexposed as well. I think that really, really adds. And I think the photographer has probably chosen that process that's happened there. So very well done.
Yeah, I will add some details. So when Owen submitted this, it's taken on Rolly Retro 400S film. He said that what he really likes about this photo is the high contrast, the light coming in. The winter sun is called winter sun. The high contrast in the grain structure adds a timeless quality and helps with the abstract shape. So clearly you're right, absolutely. That is a very deliberate composition.
I hadn't heard of any of that. Paul hadn't told me that prior to looking at that image, so brilliant.
Absolutely. Really, really well done, Owen. That's a beautiful, beautiful photo. Okay, let's go to the next one. And a big contrast. We've gone from black and white to purple and pink.
Yeah, this is lovely. So I'm assuming this is Lomo purple film. Very much an assumption there. I called this the Pink Cliffs when I saw it, and I skipped by it first time round, and I kept going back through it, and it got better every time I looked at it. It felt like genuinely I was looking at a Star Trek themed alien world there that you're looking at, and there's a glimpse of a person or people halfway down the image there. Overall, it's a nice composition where the thirds are broken up. So you've got the clear brightness at the top, you've got the dark purple at the bottom and the pink in the middle. So it creates a composition of what I call a Spanish flag, where you've broken up lines of colours and big blocks of colours, and that dark streak of green down the middle. So I liked that you just took a normal country scene, and with a special film, you made it look completely alien. And yeah, the more times I looked at it, more I enjoyed it. I think it's a very strong image. As a whole series, I would love to see a series along this sort of nature. I think it could be quite special, because when you're looking at it, the foliage sort of, it looks like green rocks rather than wildlife. Sorry, not green rocks. Sorry, pink rocks rather than wildlife. And I love that alien nature to it. So yeah, well done with that. I really enjoyed that one. I'm looking at it now, and
no, I like it, and also, as you say, the fact that there's sort of the novelty-ishness of the Lomo Purple, but actually it's built on that really strong composition, the really strong detail, the beautiful positioning of the subject as well, so you don't have an empty space at the bottom. So it's a strong photo, and the purple is adding to it rather than being sort of a nice tweak to it.
Yeah, I agree. It's been used appropriately in this instance. It's been used well rather than just using it for the sake of it. It's a good use of that film, if that is the correct film.
Yes, it is. Lomo Purple, absolutely. And that was taken by Jonathan Mock. So well done, Jonathan. And I've also this month remembered to put people's Instagram handles on. So if you like any of these photos in particular and want to see more of the artist's work, then please do jump on your phone and follow them. Okie dokie. Very different one again. Amandine Basil and black and white portrait, but not a typical one.
No, it's certainly not a typical portrait. Number one, because it's upside down as far as a portrait goes. You can see some context here, so it's a bath. It looks like a bath or someone in water or milky water or something. And it could be positioned in any direction. It could be portrait traditionally, upside down or sideways. And I still think it would work. But this one did jump out to me immediately. It's the lady's face. And I thought, that's a strong image, immediately punches you in the face. But I wasn't sure if it was going to be one of the honourable mentions because I had to keep going back round and let it grow on me, which it certainly did. And I felt that overall, the experience that I got every time I looked at it was just a stronger and stronger experience of an ethereal and haunting view. And I felt that it was quite a brave entry. It was brave to enter this photograph and consider that one of your best from your last series that could come in. And I appreciate what you've done there and brought it in. And I think it's a joy where the top of the image, instead of leaving detail to come into that image, you've left the detail to really fade out into nothing. And I think that really, really works to give negative space to the frame in a compositional sense. So well done again.
I think the exposure is absolutely incredible because you're right. You've got the really dark black of the hair. You've got the white on the face and above. But you can see there is actually still some skin detail towards the top. So it's not that it doesn't get washed out. There's the grain, but also the skin feature underneath. Yeah, I think the details here are incredible as well. Like the really bare left arm, but then the right arm with bracelets on. Things like this. It's just I really like the choice to put it. I really like the choice of upside down as well. I think it would still be a strong image the other way around, the right way around, but it is very arresting. I think really, really powerful. So fantastic work. This was shot on Lomography Lady Grey. Amandine said that she really enjoyed the film for interior pictures in particular. And if this is an example of that, then absolutely do more, please. Okay, Luke Farmer. We've had Luke Farmer a couple of times before. What stood out about this photo from Luke?
Well, it is quite a traditional street scene. A very traditional street photography. So I guess Luke is a street photographer by nature, probably does a lot of street photography because this is classic, really classic what you've got here, very typical, atypical sort of work. What I wanted to say off the bat was smoking is bad for you. But there's a good understanding of light in this image, a really good understanding of light and composition. So the composition has been flattened. So you're looking at a Mondrian painting. And if you pay special attention to that drain pipe down the right-hand side, it is completely flush, straight down the right-hand side of that frame. And that is great. I love that when people pay that sort of attention to detail to the frame and composition of image. So the horizontal lines as well are horizontal. They're not slightly wonky. And the wonky line, which is the pavement there, is wonky because it's within context. It's on a street scene that is obviously rolling downhill. The rolling hill obviously is mirrored very nicely with the shadow that is cutting deep and starkly through that film. Through the whole frame. So it's a lovely, straightforward, spot-on street photographer by someone who I can clearly see does a lot of work like this.
Well, Luke is actually on the chat. He said woohoo and waved. So now is your chance to now be really mean about him.
No, I'm not going to be mean. It's a great shot. It's a genuinely good shot. The second I saw it, I goes, okay, yeah, that's definitely in the bag, that one.
Brilliant. So, there we go. And then I'll just have a quick look. So this is shot on Cinestill 50D, which Luke says is great and looks way cooler than 800T. So 800T is obviously the most, the best known and best selling of the Cinestill, but Luke is a big 50D fan. He said about the photo, he's always a sucker for when a photo has a good chunk of shadow in it.
Absolutely. Okay, I'd suggest keeping. I mean, I don't need to suggest this, but maybe if anyone else is watching and not understanding why I'm enjoying this, look at the grills at the top. There's two grills at the top above where the ventilation fan are, and they are equidistant from the top of the frame. There's this thin sliver of brick along the top, and that drain pipe that's coming down the right-hand side. When I say this is a Mondrian image, that's what I'm talking about. All the items and objects in this frame are all positioned and laid out perfectly. And I know from experience, because I do this as much as I can with my photography, that Luke knows this and he has to get it right. If that's not right, it would bug him for days and he'd have to go back and either reshoot it or edit it to death to get it right. I would consider going square actually and cutting 25% of the left-hand side, the shadow off. So you're leaving that shadow in. But as a square format, it might actually be more effective. You have to decide for yourself on that one, Luke, because you're the artist here.
And he's just said he did actually spend ages framing this. So
good.
There we go. So it sounds as though a photo walk, Luke and Sam, will be a masterclass in angles and shapes. But no, that's wonderful. Thank you. That is a beautiful description, and I feel like I'm learning things listening to you talk about other people's photographs, which is a wonderful feeling. So Chris Lockyer, another frequent flyer in this competition, at LameAlad on Instagram. And what did you enjoy here?
Oh, well, this was the first one that I chose. So it was the first one that was definitely, I'm going to have that one. Now, overall, the composition, I feel the composition in regards to composition without context is not as strong as the previous image. So compositionally, it has got strong points. It's got very punchy colours. And it has got some interesting content that's happening. There's some background detail that I don't really care for, but sometimes that happens in photographs and I have to get over myself. But what I saw here, apart from the typical street composition, is my mind is telling a story where this lady is about to walk through an otherworldly portal. Because the punctum of this photograph, you know, the detail, the thing that's really bringing that home is not the lady that's walking there. It's the reflection you see in that sign, which is very, very well spotted. So I really appreciate you spotted that. And the lady's walking towards this. It could absolutely be bettered with a bit more detail on that, or what's going on there in that reflection, which is just remarkable. Maybe a tighter crop on the lady to that reflection, but otherwise it was the first one that I definitely knew it was going to be one of the finalists.
That's fantastic, and you're right. The swirl, but the detail. I love that idea that it's a portal, and also the colours really bring it to life. So Chris says that this is it's called The Rebirth of the Advertising Booth. It's shot on Kodak's Portra 400. He loves the colours. Says it's a really good all-round film, and in this photo in particular he enjoyed the contrast between the figure and the newly refurbished booth, and also the colours that popped, and those yellows, reds and blues are just stunning. Well,
does he say anything about the swirly?
No. But you've, as soon as you've said that now, I can't look away, and
that's the image there. I wish the lady was like the other side of that tree, perhaps, so a bit closer, and it was cropped in closer to create a tighter image between those two. But perhaps I'm wrong. But perhaps I'm reading it too wrong. It is a good composition. I love it. I really love it.
No, it's beautiful, and also the sort of the trick of assessing a photo when you squint slightly to take out some of the detail. Can it still stand up? And absolutely, the shapes here and the colours are just are really, really very powerful. So well done, Chris. Really, really interesting and eye-catching photo.
Now we're going to get the contentious one, are we?
The what? Sorry.
The contentious winner.
Oh no! We've got a couple of special mentions from.
Oh, of course. Sorry, my apologies. Yep.
Special mentions from me. So when I saw this, I just absolutely loved it, and maybe it's because, especially at the moment with a small child, I spend a lot of my life in playgrounds with my daughter running towards or away from me, especially when it's time for home. So I see this image a lot, but I never see it captured this well with the detail. And I suppose linked to what you just said, the otherworldly nature of this. This could easily be somebody entering a portal. As well, the reflections and the light and the contrast, and then the ambiguity about where the legs finish at the bottom. I really, really enjoyed this. So this didn't quite make it onto Sam's top 5 special mentions, but for me, this jumped out straight away. So
it could have done, certainly could have done. It wasn't without merit that this one's there. The great contrast is there, but what really stands out is the child's fingers spread apart, and especially the reflection on the left hand. The reflection on the left hand really fills out that composition totally. So I think I've done it an injustice. Just this again, you highlighting it. Well, it's a really, really lovely image.
But it is one of the hardest things each month, and no one has ever found it easy to get down to 5 special mentions, and very often we end up with a lot more because of that. But no, really fantastic. It's also, I like it now, it's like a spooky version of the James Bond start, where somebody coming out with hands rather than the gun.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I picked up on was another one from Amandine, actually. But this one I really loved, and the reason I loved it, I think the composition is quite classic, I think. But I really love the colours. I'm so used to seeing photos like this where the wheat is bright yellow and the sky is bright blue, and it's very postcardy. And actually, I don't know whether it's because May has been so universally crap from a weather point of view, but this really spoke to me because it feels like this month has felt, where we have these shoots of growth, where we have this new life, this hope. The vaccination programme is rolling out, all of that wider social context stuff, yet it is still grey, overcast, miserable, and things are still muted versus what they could be. So I think this made me feel quite a lot. It felt very reminiscent of, as I say, my mood in the past few weeks. But also, taking that aside, the detail, the composition, the choice, the fact that she's clearly got low to shoot there, the fact that she hasn't blown out the sky, which would have been very easy to do when you point up like this, is also a lovely part.
Yeah, I enjoy that a lot as well. I'm trying to. Is it the Zimbabwe? No, South Africa maybe. Hold on. Give me 1 second, Paul. I'm just checking.
No, that's fine. Yeah. While we're doing that, I'll say as well that this one was shot on Colour Plus.
Yeah. It's reminding me of a flag because of the shape here. You've got this triangle coming in the middle from the right hand side. So if you imagine the image is split into 2, so you've got the sky and the wheat, then you've got this green purple coming in from the right hand side, gently getting this triangle, this green triangle sharp coming in. It's a really lovely composition that breaks into 3 lovely blocks of triangle colour, which I appreciate. And I was trying to wonder if it was maybe the South African flag or the Zimbabwe flag that it was reminding me of, but I'm not quite sure. Not the colours, but just the shape of the flag, you see.
Got it. No, I like this. I like your reminds you of a flag concept for photos.
Yeah, I do. Well, it's a nice way to do it.
Okay, so first of all, round of applause for all the second option. Well done. 7 fantastic photos. We now move on to the Lucky Dip winner, which is randomly selected each month from all the entrants. It is invariably also a very good photo in and of itself. And sure enough, this month that is true. So this is a photo from Eliza Petrascu, which was shot, I think, on Rolly in Fred. Let me quickly have a look if I can see that. Yes, rolling infrared film. A wonderful portrait. I love the light reflection. It often can be quite distracting, but here I think it draws some lovely attention. Possibly brings too much a bit to the railings on the right, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of in terms of the context, but I love his face. I love the detail. I love the flowers that are backlit by the sun. I really enjoy it. And also, Eliza, you have won a prize as a Lucky Dip winner.
Well done.
Right then, now
I like the juxtaposition of the flowers and the telegraph pole coming out of his head, which is really nice there.
There's lots of verticals. So now we move on to you called it a contentious winner. So before I reveal, Sam, is there anything you want to say? Why do you say this is going to be contentious?
I'll just say what I sent you. Who doesn't love cats?
And on that note, here it is.
This not only defies convention because it breaks every rule in the book, it's a brave entry where a clear accident, because looks like an accident, has formed an amusing silhouette of the boss of the house. So the shadow and the darks in this photo is the detail. And that's what I love about this. This is what stood out among the great photographs that I saw today. This one stood out because it was very unusual. Just the shape and silhouette of that cat was classic. It is obviously the object that we're taking a photograph. It's the subject of the photograph, but you've exposed for outside here. So you've got the exposure correct outdoors, but the object is completely dark silhouette in the darks. And I love how it's been completely turned. Everything's been turned on its head there. And I think it's a great photo the longer you look at it. Really is. It is the longer you look at that, even though you can't see the detail of your cat, and maybe you haven't got what you want, you probably saw this photo and thought, "Oh God, that's quite funny or good actually." Maybe they meant to do this, and I've got egg on my face right now. But I think it's a lovely photograph overall, and it really did stand out as being very different to all the other entries. And sometimes the winner does need to be against the grain and different, and not the classic winner that you always see, the classic lovely landscape or the beautiful sky or the beautiful portrait, etc. Something really different and jarring is often fun to have the winner as a competition winner.
No, I have to say actually one thing very quickly. I have made my own mistake here because I've left the text from the last one. I've got to change it. So this isn't Miles. Sorry, Miles. This is actually Sebastian Leontes. So I'm terribly sorry, Sebastian. I will correct that credit when we publish it on the blog, on Instagram and things. But yes, there we go. And you're here as well. Sebastian, I'm so embarrassed. Very sorry, I did get your name wrong. But congratulations on the photo. And I definitely echo everything Sam says. I think the silhouette is everything here. It's Batman in cat form. It's absolutely fantastic, and I think you move that cat slightly to the left and have the silhouette join up with a chair, or to the right and have it join up with the shirt, and you'd immediately lose the power. So absolutely, you wouldn't necessarily say this is a classic in terms of the colour or the detail, but as a photograph, it is very, very powerful. Let me just quickly have a look. So the name of the title, Sebastian has called it Cat 2.0.
Okay.
I wonder what 1.0 looked like. Taken on Colour Plus, which again actually probably doesn't help because Colour Plus is a lovely film, but does not cope well with underexposure, does not cope well with contrast. So I'm not surprised knowing that the colours are muted and the shadow detail is low. And Sebastian liked about this photo, he loves the overall range of colours, the big contrast that my cat with the bright background, and it was shot on a Zenith 3M. The age and long life of this camera also helped to add a feel to it that I find particularly nice. So, huge congratulations to Sebastian. Huge congratulations to everybody who entered, who was mentioned here, and who won. I said it last month, I'm sure I'll say it every month. The quality of the photos and the quantity are exceptionally high each time. no guest judge has ever said it's an easy job to come on. Sam, I think you've done a brilliant job, though. I really enjoyed listening to you critique that. I can tell you're a true professional at this. And thank you so much for bringing your expertise to the WonderBox community.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. I enjoyed doing it as well. Camera club competitions, sometimes they are draining, really, looking through the work, and you have to critique and be quite negative about people's work. But I really enjoyed this because the photographs were genuinely good. And I should. This is honest. Honestly, it's like I loved that they were all on film. Like. Yeah, I realise that's the point, but I'm so sick of seeing digital images that have been perfected to death or over-edited to death. I love what I saw. I wish all photographic competition was like this, and I wish camera clubs went back to film, etc. It was a joy looking at it. There was some work that was just improved because of the aesthetic that we all of us here in this community love.
Yeah, and the if I go back to the point of the WonderBox, really, it's to learn and explore and try different films that you can then add to your creative toolkit. So we've seen here a brilliant example on Lomo Purple where they've used the purple nature to strengthen the image. We've seen somebody shoot portraits on infrared film. We've seen someone use the frankly muddiness of colour plus and underexposure to create a really powerful silhouette. You know, the film that's being used and the photo that's being created are intrinsically linked, and I think that's why I love film. I mean, no more than anyone else.
No, I think everyone agrees. Yeah. We're all in agreement, Paul. Everyone is here.
So huge congratulations, Sebastian and Eliza. The grand prize winner and Lucky Dip. So what you have won is you have won a roll of the very brand new Sinister 120 and also a Solarcan. On holiday from now until Tuesday. Woo! So I won't possibly be in touch as fast as normal, but next week we will make sure, get in touch, confirm shipping address, and get you your prizes on the way. If you don't shoot 120, let me know and I'll substitute it for 35mm, but it's an opportunity if you do have a camera, or if you've been looking for an excuse to buy a medium format camera, to do it. Actually, I must admit that one of the guys in our warehouse, who's a film shooter, used the fact that we got this into the warehouse to persuade himself to buy a Yashica 120 camera. And I was like, "Oh, do you not have a medium format then?" And he's like, "Yes." Like, this really was a tentative excuse. He's like, "Yeah, I was looking for something to push me over the edge." We've all been there. Well, thank you so much. It's gone 9 o'clock. I hugely appreciate your time, your expertise, your passion, your energy, Sam. You're a wonderful member of this Analogue community. I cannot wait to hang out with you for a whole extended weekend in September, where hopefully we will be met in real life by a lot of the people who have seen us. And to all of our viewers, thank you so much for joining. Huge congratulations. I know Sebastian's here. Huge congratulations, Sebastian, and everyone else who got special mentions. And thank you so much for being part of the WonderBox community, for sending these images, helping everybody learn. It is a wonderful thing to be all of us coming together and teaching ourselves about these films. So thank you so much. We will be back with a live in a month's time. We'll be back with the next film review tips and tricks next week, hopefully, probably on Tuesday rather than Monday for the bank holiday. And with that, Sam, where do you want people to go to follow you, find out more about you, ask you to critique their photos?
At the Solarcan. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, and less commonly Facebook. But Twitter and Instagram, we spend a lot of time there. If you want to buy a Solarcan, head over to Analogue Wonderland. If you're feeling generous, head over to my site. But I do expect people to go to Analogue Wonderland. And this is why I'm here to support Analogue Wonderland and their support of me.
Well, that is very kind. Brilliant. Well, enjoy your weekend. Is there a bank holiday in Scotland this weekend?
I don't get weekends, let alone bank holidays, so I don't know.
To be honest, for me, it only matters when I turn up to the nursery and they're like, it's closed. Like, bank holiday. I now need to go home and work with a toddler. I remember. See you tomorrow. Yes, that's really brilliant. Well, have a wonderful weekend regardless. Thank you so much, Sam. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.